Welcome back, boys and some girls. This was a very polarizing game. I had fun, but I also have a lot to criticize. Let's start. And as always, the subjects will be So Tale of Arise is a story about rags to riches, where a random nobody becomes the chosen one, the hero. You'll be going on a journey with a few characters, with a few different classes and personalities. What you need to do is bring peace to the world by slaying the big bad guy. Now this was very general what you're gonna do. This is, from here on out, it's gonna be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you have to skip to this timestamp. Alright, so our story is set on a planet that got invaded by a powerful human civilization that enslaved the people who lived on the planet and started harvesting their astral energy, which is basically their life force. MC starts as a slave with a mask that makes him unable to feel pain as well as block some of his memories. This is important because right after that, you'll be meeting the female lead, and her deal is that she can't be touched by anyone because if you touch her, you feel pain. You see where I'm going? From here on, this is just a journey about happy going to slay all the lords that reign over the random cities in the planet. Basically the guys who enslaved everyone, right? As you progress more and more, your party members will join you, you'll have a bigger party, and one of them is even a lord. After you defeat the last lord, I say defeat, but kinda defeat, turns out you need to fight a whole planet of those civilization, and what a surprise, right? Because you can't just defeat 5 people and expect a whole civilization to surrender. You then go and find a ship that got you to this planet 300 years ago. Yes, 300 years. You were put into stasis for all this time to try and save you from the injuries you got while you were massacring a few thousand people by yourself. There are a lot more details about the game that I can explain to you about like certain astral energies and this planet and that planet and like the system and converting the energies and certain places that collect them and what does it mean and stuff like that. And the game is focused so much on like the elements, the fire, the wind, the whatever it is, and combining them, but everything doesn't matter at the ending because they just pull out something completely random and they decide to do it. They do the whole like Dragon Ball Z ball, you know what I'm talking about?
Collective will of Dana, hear my plea! I want to save Xion! And I want to save Rena too! Grant us your strength!
There are many things in this story that could have been resolved much more efficiently and with way less padding and expanding the story, but that's a completely different video. It's a completely different full video on its own. Man, this one was painful for me. Could just be me, but 90% of this was painful. I said mostly because of the story. The gameplay is a 4-character animation with animation lock, meaning each action you do, also it has queuing by the way, meaning that if you press on a button too much, you're stuck for a while because you do one action, then you press another action, and while the animation is happening, which can be between 1 to 3 seconds, you can queue another one and you get put into the queue, you get stuck and you cannot avoid. You might, if you can click, dodge very fast, you might be able to get in between a few of the animations, but very rarely it happens. You have to very specifically press and that you know what you're pressing or you're gonna take damage. This might be a personal point, but I really hate this kind of game design. If I want to play an action fast-paced game, I don't want to be locked. I want to play a fast action game. If I want to play slow and strategic, to know what I'm playing, I'm to take my time, make strategies, do whatever, I'm gonna play a turn-based game. I love turn-based games, but this is not what I was expecting. I had like a very hard time. And besides that, every level is packed with enemies that block your path to the route you have to go, meaning it's unavoidable. You cannot avoid those enemies. And the enemies are extremely tanky. The time to kill is very high. And the game even knows that because it has an automated battle mode, meaning you just press the automated battle mode and you can do whatever you want. Each character has passives and actives that needs to be unlocked by doing certain things, like maybe speaking to X amount of characters, collecting X amount of stuff, getting like this amount of skill usage of one skill, and then you unlock the skill. But if you want to upgrade it, you do it by earning points through combat or doing side quests. You can upgrade stuff like easier dodging, more crit, more stamina, and just similar stuff like that. Active can also have an element attached to them, like fire, lightning, ground, you know, the rest, making them weak against themselves and strong against another element. So water is weak against water, but strong against fire, and fire is weak against fire, but strong against water. They're both couples. They're like water, fire, lightning, ground, and light and dark. Those are like the opposites that you can have. Besides that, as you use more times your actives, they increase in the rank and they deal more damage and lets you unlock new skills, as I just said before. The game also has equipment, which are basically just a stat stick. You put them on and that's it. You get more stat, nothing more complicated than that. You can craft weapons or find them in the wild, like doing quests, doing whatever. But armor I only found to, like, you find them in chests by defeating some bosses or whatever, or you can buy them. I didn't see like a way to craft them or whatever. There are also accessories, which again are just stat sticks. They do whatever, and you can have like sub stats on them. That just nothing more than that. They don't change your appearance because there is a separate menu called outfits, where you gain outfits by doing side objectives, competing in the arena, collecting the owls, a bunch of stuff. You get outfits from them, and then you can choose to do whatever you want and make them so your characters look a certain way without like damaging their performance. In general, you'll be struggling up a hill all throughout the game. This is the design, it's not your fault. When you go over the monster level, you get like a 90% decrease in EXP compared to when you usually kill it. Also, every time you go to a new area, the weapons you unlock require items from the next area you will unlock in the story. So you can never really have the best weapon unlocked that you can do. The whole experience is very confusing because every item has like completely different name, even though most enemies are the same. There's like 6 or 7 wolves, which are just different colors. And this applies to like 60 or 70% of the mobs. They're like golems and flying eggs with things on top of them. They just change color, like red and blue and green, brown, purple, stuff like that. And they do the same thing. They just have a higher level. They give you more XP. They have higher HP. That's it, the same. For bosses, the main story ones start kind of unique. But then you kind of notice there's a few skills that repeat in between them. They're the same skill, they just had their effects changed, the color of the effect change, and the sparks change. Kind of to make you feel it's a fresh new boss, even though it's not. For example, many of the bosses dash at you, dealing like a one-hit kill, if you get hit. They repeat it 2 times. When they go below 50% HP, they do it 4 times. Basically just double whatever thing they do before the 50% HP. A lot of the bosses do that. There's the wolf and that, I forgot the name, it's the guy in Cyslodia. They just rush at you. They can do it from the air, from the ground, whatever kind of mob they are, doesn't matter. They do all the same. I played the whole game on normal. Most of the game I did in auto mode. I barely even played. I just used like specific skills or avoided something or tried to pass like a difficulty spike, but most of the game I didn't even touch the keyboard, just, you know, making sure the game is running and that's it. Besides the main systems, there's some random ones like You can raise some animals like cows and sheep, whatever, just to get the materials from them. Cow, obviously you get the meat, the milk, you know, that kind of stuff. You can also find owls, which has no meaning, but if you want to do that, you can. I mean, I found all the owls because I like completion, but I almost didn't touch the animal raising part because it takes too much time and I can buy 10 times the amount of items with almost no money at all. There are a few more like that you can completely ignore and you'll be completely fine, unless you want to do like New Game Plus and you want to maximize everything that you can do in the game and be the best you can ever be, whatever. Then you're probably gonna have to touch them. I didn't care. I tried them. There's like a dungeon thing. You go in, you can repeat the bosses. They are level 95, 90 something. I didn't care enough to do that. If you do, then you can do that. To end this segment, I have to say combat was so padded with how tanky all the mobs are and how many of them are. I think one or the other should change, should be reduced. Either less HP or less enemies. Choose one. I say less HP. It feels more fun to kill more enemies. The game has released in 2021 and it looks okay. Some views can be nice in specific moments, but overall the world feels empty. Rooms are completely empty. You go into a room, there's like maybe a bed and a table. That's it. You don't see like completely detailed environments. There are some of those, like the big castles and stuff like that, but if you go into a random place, there's basically nothing there. Just like an empty wooden shack or whatever. NPCs stand like scarecrows, almost not moving, if at all. I think the only NPCs that are moving are the guards, because they're also like a combat mob, that's why. And the sad part is, when they switch to anime mode during the cutscenes, it looks very good. And the music during those moments, very good, fits very well. But those moments are not the majority of the game, not even close. Another complaint I have regarding the music is that no matter how much like low in compared to the voice I put the music, somehow still the music overpowers the dialogue in the cutscenes. I try to take like 20-30 down between the voice and the music, but still doesn't work. Always the voice is being drowned by the music. Sometimes there is like no sound, you can hear nothing, and sometimes you can barely hear yourself speaking. Well, I'm speaking because I recorded it and I'm speaking to myself anyway. So I just went kind of insane trying to balance everything out during the cutscene or whatever. All of that kind of ruined my immersion. I always was taken out of a scene by something. This is my one sentence pitch for this visual segment, is every time I found myself to be completely immersed in the game, something else took me out of it. The dialogue, the music, whatever. This segment is going to be very short. My system has an i9 and a 3080. I had zero problem with the game, no frame drops, no freezes, no crashes, everything worked out fine. Nothing happened, no like visual glitches, like no bugs I was stuck at and couldn't continue. Nothing, like done, nothing, completely fine. Okay, so Tale of Arise. I had a decent time, decent fun in this game, but it was way too long. I was very happy to end it. This game should have been 2 games. It was going to give more place to a decent story without the need to make up nonsense for the sake of drama. This game is part of a movement that dumbs down, I say movement like this, a movement that dumbs down story because it's convenient storytelling and it's an easy solution to fill out the voids. This is a problem that's plaguing anime in general. This is not something the Tale of Arise invented. It's not something new whatsoever at all, but it's another video I'm planning on doing, so I won't expand too much here. You'll have to watch that video to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll end this here. If you enjoy anime stories and you're willing to forgive a challenging gameplay system with some story plot holes, you can find a decent game to pass the time. For me, this is an average game, 5 out of 10. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, well, you wasted a few minutes. Don't worry. Keep yourself safe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.